The anxiety of constant distraction, that feeling of being pulled in 10 directions at once while accomplishing nothing of substance. We live in a world saturated with information, yet starved for genuine clarity. What if the solution isn't about managing the noise, but about changing your relationship to it entirely? This is the promise of a core Zen principle, a practice known as Mu. It translates as no or nothing, but its true meaning points toward a state of no mind, a profound emptiness that is the source of true focus. This isn't about adding another technique to your life, it's about an internal shift that transforms how you experience the world itself. We often mistake this state of busyness for productivity. The notifications, the endless tabs, the pressure to multitask, they create a psychological environment of perpetual low-grade emergency. This is information overload, and its cost is decision fatigue. Every ping, every new piece of data, demands a micro-decision to engage or ignore. Over time, this depletes our mental resources, leaving us feeling overwhelmed and incapable of the deep, sustained focus that meaningful work requires. The mind in this state is like a lake constantly churned by wind. The water is so turbulent you can never see clearly to the bottom. We seek clarity, but our attempts often involve more doing, more productivity apps, more time management hacks, more filtering of the external world. These are attempts to calm the lake by stopping the wind. But the ancient wisdom of Zen suggests a different approach. What if, instead of fighting the wind, you could learn to let the sediment in the water settle? The disturbances would still occur on the surface, but your depths would remain clear and undisturbed. This is the crucial distinction. The problem isn't solely the external noise, it's our internal reaction to it. The mind has become habituated to chase every stimulus, to form an opinion about every piece of data, to constantly plan and evaluate. This internal chatter is the real source of the fatigue. We are trying to solve an internal problem with external solutions, and that is why they so often fail. We need a method that addresses the root, the mind's own compulsive activity. This sets the stage for Mu, not as another item on your to-do list, but as a foundational shift in awareness. It is an invitation to step out of the stream of habitual thought and rest in a different kind of knowing. So how do we begin to settle the mind? In Zen, the primary tool for this is the koan. A koan is not a riddle to be solved with logic. It's a question designed to short-circuit our habitual way of thinking, to bring the analytical mind to a point where it simply cannot proceed. And the most fundamental koan of all is the one about Mu. It comes from a story about the master Joshu. A monk once asked him, "Does a dog have Buddha nature?" Now, in Buddhist doctrine, the answer is supposed to be yes, all beings possess this innate potential for awakening. But Joshu did not give the doctrinal answer. He simply said, Mu. No. Nothing. On the surface, this seems like a contradiction. But the purpose of the koan is to push you past the surface. The monk was asking a conceptual question, seeking a conceptual answer to store in his intellectual warehouse. Joshu's response, Mu, is a radical refusal to play that game. It's a direct pointing to a reality that exists before concepts, before yes and no, before having and not having. The question isn't about a dog's spiritual resume, it's a test to see if the monk can step out of the world of ideas and into direct experience. This is the essence of Mu. It's not a philosophical stance of nihilism. It's a practical tool for emptying the cup of your mind. When you take up the practice of Mu, you aren't trying to figure out what the word means. You are asked to become the question itself. You sit with Mu, repeating it, sitting with the sensation of not knowing, until the relentless chattering of your opinionated mind begins to quiet down. The koan works on you, rather than you working on the koan. The real magic of this practice is how it dissolves the subject-object duality that is the very engine of our mental noise. Our normal state is one of separation, I am here, thinking about that. I am the subject, and the thought, the problem, the email, is the object. This separation creates tension, a subtle friction that fuels the internal commentary. But when you fully inhabit the question Mu, that division starts to blur. There is no longer a you thinking about Mu. There is just Mu. There is just the sound, the sensation, the vibrant, empty space of the question itself. This is the transition from seeking answers to resting in the question. We are conditioned to believe that clarity comes from finding the right answer. But often, the search for the answer is what creates the confusion. We pile possibility upon possibility, analysis upon analysis, until we are buried in our own thoughts. Mu offers a way out. It teaches us that sometimes, the most profound clarity comes not from finding an answer, but from letting go of the need to have one. It's the difference between desperately trying to see the bottom of a muddy pond by staring harder, and simply allowing the water to become still. The stillness itself is the clarity. In the space created by Mu, by this intentional not knowing, a different kind of intelligence can emerge, one that is intuitive, direct, and free from the clutter of preconceived ideas. This is the gateway from a mind overwhelmed by information to a mind capable of genuine insight. This brings us to a fundamental principle that underpins the entire practice of Mu. It's beautifully captured in a simple Zen parable. A learned man once traveled to a monastery to meet a great master, eager to share his vast knowledge and discuss profound philosophies. As the master began to pour tea for his guest, he kept pouring even after the cup was full. Tea spilled over the rim and onto the table. The scholar cried out, "Stop! The cup is full, it can hold no more." The master set down the teapot and replied, "You are like this cup, so full of your own opinions and knowledge. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" Our minds are exactly like that overfilled cup. They are saturated with opinions, plans, stored information, and preconceived notions about how things should be. This mental fullness is the primary obstacle to receiving anything new, whether it's a fresh perspective, a creative solution, or simply a moment of peace. We approach every situation, a conversation, a work task, a problem, with our cup already full. We think we are engaging with reality, but we are often just comparing it to our pre-existing mental models, filtering it through our biases. The practice of Mu is the practice of intentionally tipping that cup over. It is the conscious cultivation of not knowing. This is not ignorance. Ignorance is an absence of knowledge you should have. Not knowing, in the Zen sense, is a profound state of openness. It is setting aside what you think you know in order to encounter what is. It's the willingness to be a beginner again, to see the world with fresh eyes, unclouded by yesterday's conclusions. So how do we apply this before a task or a conversation? It begins with creating a moment of deliberate pause. Before you open your inbox, take one conscious breath. In that breath, acknowledge the mental chatter, the anticipation, the anxiety, the plans. And then, gently set the intention to empty the cup. You are not trying to fight the thoughts or make your mind blank. You are simply creating a small space, a moment of non-engagement. You are allowing the sediment of your busy mind to begin to settle. This emptiness is not a void of apathy. It is a state of profound readiness, a fertile silence from which truly responsive and intelligent action can arise. Now, how do we cultivate this state of emptiness in a more sustained way? How do we train the mind to rest in Mu? This is where we come to the core of Zen meditation, a practice known as shikantaza, which translates as just sitting. If Mu is the principle, shikantaza is its most direct embodiment. It's important to understand that shikantaza is not meditation for something. Many people come to meditation with a goal, to reduce stress, to improve focus, to achieve a certain state. Shikantaza is different. It is meditation as being. The goal is not to get somewhere else, but to be fully present right where you are. There is nothing to achieve and nowhere to go. You are simply sitting, aware of sitting. The instruction is deceptively simple. You sit with an upright, dignified posture. You allow your awareness to be open, without focusing on any single object like the breath. Thoughts will arise. Sounds will occur. Sensations will appear in the body. The practice is to let it all come and let it all go, without grabbing on, without pushing away. You don't follow the thought train about your work meeting. You don't get lost in planning your dinner. You simply notice, thinking, and return to the spacious awareness of just sitting. It's like sitting on the bank of a river, watching the boats of your thoughts and feelings float by. You acknowledge them, but you don't feel the need to jump on board and sail away with them. This is the ultimate training for a mind besieged by digital noise. It directly counters the habit of chasing every stimulus. The notification on your phone is like a thought during shikantaza. It arises. The untrained mind feels an immediate, compulsive urge to engage, to click, to scroll, to respond. But through the practice of just sitting, you develop the capacity to observe that urge without immediately obeying it. You create a gap between stimulus and reaction. In that gap lies your freedom. Let's try a very brief taste of this right now. It doesn't require a special cushion or a quiet room. Wherever you are, just for the next minute, see if you can practice shikantaza. Sit up straight if you can. Let your hands rest comfortably. Now, simply be aware of the totality of your experience. Notice the sensations of your body sitting. Notice the sounds in the room, not labeling them as good or bad, just as sound. If a thought arises, don't wrestle with it. Don't judge it. Just notice that thinking is happening, and gently, without force, return to the awareness of sitting. There's no need to control your breath or clear your mind. The goal is to be the undisturbed mirror, reflecting everything without being stained by it. Just sitting. That's all. This is the practice of Mu in action, a direct encounter with the clarity that exists when we stop adding commentary to our experience. So how do we bring this practice of just sitting off the cushion and into the most chaotic parts of our modern lives? Let's take a concrete case study, the first hour of your workday. For many, this is a period of high reactivity. You open your laptop, and the inbox is already full. Each unread email feels like a demand, a small hook pulling your attention in a different direction. The default mode is to start reacting, clicking, replying, triaging, which immediately sets the tone for a fragmented, responsive day, rather than a purposeful one. This is where we can apply the spirit of Mu. Instead of diving directly into the content, you practice sitting with the inbox itself. You open it, but you don't read the emails yet. You simply observe the screen as a whole. You notice the number of unread messages. You observe the physical sensations that arise, the slight tension, the urge to start clearing the list. You don't judge these feelings, you just acknowledge them, creating a small pocket of space, just like in shikantaza. In this space, you can use your breath as an anchor. Take 3 conscious breaths while looking at the inbox. This isn't about avoiding work, it's about preparing the mind for work. With each breath, you are practicing Mu, you are emptying the cup of the anticipation and anxiety you brought to the screen. You are allowing the mental sediment to settle so you can see the priorities clearly, rather than just reacting to the loudest notification. Now, you'll notice the urge to multitask is particularly strong here. As you start reading one email, a thought about another pops up. The practice is to observe that urge without immediately obeying it. See if you can apply single-pointed attention to the email you are reading, as if it were the only thing in the world at that moment. When the pull to switch arises, note it, the urge to multitask, and gently return your focus. This is the discipline of Mu in a digital context. It's the repeated act of not chasing the next stimulus, of resting in the task at hand. The result of this simple practice is a significant reduction in reactive decisions. When you click on an email from that space of settled awareness, your response is more likely to be intentional. You might realize an email doesn't need a reply at all, or that it can be delegated, or that the truly important task isn't in the inbox at all. You move from being controlled by the flow of information to directing your attention with purpose. The noise hasn't gone away, but your relationship to it has fundamentally changed. You've learned to sit by the digital river without feeling compelled to jump into every passing boat. This same principle of creating space applies powerfully to our interactions with others. Consider a difficult conversation or a high-stakes meeting. Our default mode is often one of preparation, not reception. While the other person is speaking, a part of our mind is already busy formulating a response, crafting a rebuttal, or planning what we will say next. We are so full of our own agenda that we are only half listening. The cup is full. Practicing Mu in conversation means consciously emptying that cup before someone speaks. It means entering the exchange with a stance of not knowing. You set aside your preconceptions about what they will say or what you think the problem is. You release the need to have the right answer ready. This creates a profound shift from listening to reply to listening to understand. The practice is to bring the same open awareness of shikantaza to the person in front of you. You listen not just to their words, but to the silence between them. You listen for the intention behind the words, the emotion carried in the tone of voice. When your own thoughts arise, your opinions, your judgments, your planned response, you simply notice them, as you would notice a thought during meditation, and gently return your attention to the speaker. You are practicing Mu by letting go of your internal commentary and fully receiving the other person's reality. This doesn't mean you become passive. On the contrary, this kind of deep listening is an intensely active state of presence. Because you are not distracted by your own mental noise, you can perceive nuances you would otherwise miss. You might hear the uncertainty beneath their confident words, or the shared concern hidden within a criticism. From this place of clear, undisturbed reception, your responses become more authentic and effective. They are no longer reactive defenses of your position, but genuine contributions that emerge from a true understanding of the situation. The conversation stops being a battle of monologues and becomes a true dialogue, flowing from a shared space of clarity. This capacity to rest in emptiness is also the key to unlocking creative potential. Think of facing a blank page, a blank canvas, or a complex problem that seems to have no solution. The common response is to strive. We push, we brainstorm, we try to force an idea into existence. But often, this striving is what creates the block. It comes from a place of lack, from the feeling that the answer is missing and we must go out and find it. This very effort tightens the mind, closing down the very openness where inspiration arises. Mu offers a different path. Instead of striving for an idea, you practice embracing the empty stage itself. You sit with the blank page not as a void to be filled, but as a field of pure potential. You apply the same principle, you empty the cup. You let go of the need for an immediate solution, the pressure to be brilliant, the attachment to a specific outcome. You allow yourself to not know the answer. In this state of intentional non-doing, something remarkable can happen. The mind, when it stops churning, begins to settle. And from the depths of that stillness, insights and connections that were obscured by your frantic searching can naturally float to the surface. A solution emerges not because you forced it, but because you created the quiet conditions for it to appear. This is the fundamental connection between Mu and genuine inspiration. Creativity is not a force we apply, but a force that flows through us when we get out of our own way. It requires the same fertile emptiness that we cultivate in meditation. The blank page is not your enemy, it is your partner in the dance of creation, and Mu teaches you how to listen to its silence. This leads us to a practical reframing of what discipline means in a world of noise. We often think of discipline as a form of force, forcing ourselves to concentrate, to resist distractions, to stay on task. But this kind of forced focus is exhausting because it creates an internal battle. Part of you wants to focus, while another part wants to check your phone. You are fighting yourself. Mu invites us to see discipline not as force, but as focused presence. It is the natural consequence of a mind that has learned to settle. The practice is to choose one task, just one, and apply the spirit of Mu to it completely. You bring your entire awareness to that activity, whether it's writing a report, washing the dishes, or having a conversation. When the inevitable pull of distraction arises, you meet it not with resistance, but with gentle awareness. You note the urge to switch tasks, and you choose, again, to return to the single point of focus. This is the cumulative power of this practice. Each time you successfully rest your attention on one thing, you are strengthening the mental muscle of non-reactive awareness. You are reducing the overall mental clutter not by organizing it, but by refusing to engage with most of it. The fragmented energy of multitasking is what leaves us feeling drained. In contrast, the focused energy of single tasking, born from a mind practicing Mu, is sustainable and deep. It's the difference between trying to light a room with a dozen flickering candles and focusing the sun's rays through a single magnifying glass. One creates a dim, chaotic glow, the other can start a fire. This capacity to rest in emptiness is also the key to unlocking creative potential. Think of facing a blank page, a blank canvas, or a complex problem that seems to have no solution. The common response is to strive. We push, we brainstorm, we try to force an idea into existence. But often, this striving is what creates the block. It comes from a place of lack, from the feeling that the answer is missing and we must go out and find it. This very effort tightens the mind, closing down the very openness where inspiration arises. Mu offers a different path. Instead of striving for an idea, you practice embracing the empty stage itself. You sit with the blank page not as a void to be filled, but as a field of pure potential. You apply the same principle, you empty the cup. You let go of the need for an immediate solution, the pressure to be brilliant, the attachment to a specific outcome. You allow yourself to not know the answer. In this state of intentional non-doing, something remarkable can happen. The mind, when it stops churning, begins to settle. And from the depths of that stillness, insights and connections that were obscured by your frantic searching can naturally float to the surface. A solution emerges not because you forced it, but because you created the quiet conditions for it to appear. This is the fundamental connection between Mu and genuine inspiration. Creativity is not a force we apply, but a force that flows through us when we get out of our own way. It requires the same fertile emptiness that we cultivate in meditation. The blank page is not your enemy, it is your partner in the dance of creation, and Mu teaches you how to listen to its silence. This leads us to a practical reframing of what discipline means in a world of noise. We often think of discipline as a form of force, forcing ourselves to concentrate, to resist distractions, to stay on task. But this kind of forced focus is exhausting because it creates an internal battle. Part of you wants to focus, while another part wants to check your phone. You are fighting yourself. Mu invites us to see discipline not as force, but as focused presence. It is the natural consequence of a mind that has learned to settle. The practice is to choose one task, just one, and apply the spirit of Mu to it completely. You bring your entire awareness to that activity, whether it's writing a report, washing the dishes, or having a conversation. When the inevitable pull of distraction arises, you meet it not with resistance, but with gentle awareness. You note the urge to switch tasks, and you choose, again, to return to the single point of focus. This is the cumulative power of this practice. Each time you successfully rest your attention on one thing, you are strengthening the mental muscle of non-reactive awareness. You are reducing the overall mental clutter not by organizing it, but by refusing to engage with most of it. The fragmented energy of multitasking is what leaves us feeling drained. In contrast, the focused energy of single tasking, born from a mind practicing Mu, is sustainable and deep. It's the difference between trying to light a room with a dozen flickering candles and focusing the sun's rays through a single magnifying glass. One creates a dim, chaotic glow, the other can start a fire. The feeling of resistance you might experience is a sign that the habit of distraction is deeply ingrained. It feels uncomfortable, even boring, to stay with one thing. This is where the practice becomes essential. Instead of judging the boredom or the restlessness, you simply observe it. You apply Mu to the feeling itself. What is this resistance? Where do you feel it in the body? By bringing a gentle, curious attention to the sensation of wanting to escape the task, you begin to dissolve its power. The resistance is just another thought, another feeling, arising and passing away. You don't have to obey it. Over time, this practice reorients your relationship with work and time. You begin to experience what is often called flow, but from the Zen perspective, flow is simply the state where the separation between the door and the doing collapses. There is no longer you writing a report, there is just the writing. There is no you resisting distraction, there is just the sustained focus. This is Mu in action within the realm of activity. It is the embodiment of a mind that is fully engaged without being clingy, completely present without being strained. This is the genuine discipline that leads not to burnout, but to a sense of mastery and calm effectiveness. The real power of Mu is not found in a single, perfect meditation session, but in the gradual integration of its spirit into the fabric of your daily life. This is the cultivation of intentionality. The goal is to find small moments throughout your day to practice this empty, ready awareness. You don't need to carve out hours, you can use routine activities as anchors. While walking, feel the sensation of your feet on the ground without the internal commentary. While drinking tea, just drink the tea. Be fully present with that one action. Each of these moments is a micro practice of Mu, a gentle return to a mind that is not chasing the next thing. The aim is not perfection, but a slow and steady reorientation of your awareness away from the noise and toward the underlying clarity. Over time, this practice deepens naturally. It builds a resilience that isn't brittle or forced, but flexible and stable. The external noise of the world doesn't disappear, but your compulsive reaction to it softens. You begin to carry a sense of inner quiet with you, a settled depth that remains undisturbed by the surface turbulence. It's natural to encounter obstacles. A very common one is the belief that my mind is too busy for this. But that's like saying the water is too wet for swimming. The busy mind is precisely the material you work with. The practice is not to stop the thoughts, but to change your relationship to them. Another obstacle is frustration, the feeling of not getting it. This expectation of a special experience is just another thought to be met with Mu. The feeling of struggle is not a sign of failure, it is an essential part of the path. The most important attitude to bring is one of gentleness. When you notice your mind has been carried away for the 10th time in a minute, simply return without judgment. There is no need to criticize yourself. The act of noticing and returning is the entire practice. It is a gentle, persistent coming back to the present moment. Adjust the practice to fit your life. If sitting for 20 minutes feels impossible, start with 2. The consistency of returning is far more important than the duration. The true freedom Mu offers is a mind that is no longer chasing solutions or resisting discomfort. It is the freedom of a clear, still lake, reflecting the world without being disturbed by it. This week, I invite you to take just one principle, perhaps emptying your cup before checking your email, and commit to practicing it. See what shifts. If this perspective on finding focus in a noisy world resonated with you, you might find value in our next video on practical mindfulness for everyday anxiety.